Hey, good morning, my lights. How y'all doing today? Yeah, I'm gonna do a video response to Cynthia G's video, Are All White People White Supremacists? And she says some things in this video that makes you want to slam your head on the desk and makes you want to question, what in the world am I listening to? Let's go, guys, and let's see what we're dealing with today.
Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to talk for a little bit about the myth of the good white person.
Actually, madam, it's not a myth, actually. There are good people in this world of all races. There actually is good people. You just have to go out and meet them and find them and become like friends and develop friendships with them. You have to go and meet them. You can't just assume, oh, every white person is bad, every white person is bad. And if you ask them, have you met every one of them? No, you haven't met every one of them. And if you tell me you met every single white person in this world, you are lying to me. Get on my face for that. So there are good white people in this world, or just people in general. There are good people in this world. You have to go and meet them, Cynthia. You can't just stay in your own little echo chamber in your own little bubble. You have to go and meet them and get outside your comfort zone. Go meet them and get outside your comfort zone, Cynthia G. I recommend that to you. I recommend that to you a lot.
I get a lot of comments talking about spreading, trying to fight hate with hate and blaming all white people for racism, and people saying, oh, well, there's good white people. All white people aren't racist.
People are correct in your comment section. Yes, not every single white person is racist in the world. There are some good white people that are not racist idiots. They're not. You just, like I said, you just have to go and meet them. You have to go find them and develop basically friendships with them. I was friends with this one guy that I met in Hallmark University or my college. He was a good friend of mine, and he was white. But I didn't see that. I just saw a good friend. We talked every single day. We got into class. We joked around, and we laughed, and we did everything. When we weren't doing our assignments, we just talked outside. We just basically had conversations. You know what I'm saying? So you have to go and meet them, Cynthia. You can't say, "Oh, they're all automatically racist." You can't do that. That's making a general blanket statement, and that's bad. That's bad. You can't make a general blanket statement, dude. That's bad. That's terrible. And not all white people cannot be blamed for what happened back then and into now. You can't use a past to justify your means, Cynthia. So go and meet them. Go and like develop friendships, and you can see, hey, not every single white person is terrible. Go do that, Cynthia. Like I said, I highly recommend that for you. And so you need to get off your victim mentality high horse and go sit down somewhere and come back down to reality.
All white people don't hate black people. Where are the good white people? Let's
White people, Cynthia, you have to go meet them. They're all around you. You just have to go meet them and talk to them and have actual human conversations and discussion. You have to go meet them. You can't just say, "Oh, not all of them are good, or they're racist, or they're like part of the South or the KKK or whatever." You have to go and meet them. Seriously, go meet them and have actual human conversations, and you'll find out, hey, not all of them are racist bigots. Not all of them are. Go have actual human conversations, Cynthia. Go actually do that and meet them. But I know you won't do that because it doesn't fit your narrative, and you'll automatically say I'm wrong. But go actually have like those human conversations, and go discuss things with people and develop friendships with people of all races, not just the ones you know. Get outside your bubble and get outside your comfort zone too. Go ahead and meet them. Go ahead, develop those friendships, and because they will last forever, and those things will be permanent and they will last forever.
think about if we go back to history.
Oh, I did some of the research on history, madam, that proves you're automatically wrong. Watch what she's going to say here, guys, and watch the research that I actually did on Google before I filmed this video, guys. So let's go.
And then we can compare it today, because I always say, and I've been saying, if you take an animal and put it in a different era of time, it does not change their nature.
Okay, let's use your animal analogy, Cynthia. Let's use it. Okay, let's say you have an animal that was born in the 1600s, right there. Okay, let's say, and let's say you put him through time and advance him through like all the generations and stuff. Will he change? Yes, because like things progress with time. Animals, people, they progress with time. Back then was that generation that was bad in like the 1600s and all that. It was bad, like bad times. But now it has progressed into 2017 where it's not so bad, Cynthia. Not at all. It has progressed and it has gotten a lot better in this world. 2017 is the best time to be alive. The 1600s is not the best time to be alive. 2017 is the best time to be alive. And you need to realize that things progress with time, Cynthia. That's the thing I'm trying to home in here. Things progress with time and generations progress and we get a little bit more civilized and we get a little bit more friendly towards one another in this world. So Cynthia, I need you to know to realize that things progress with time, Cynthia. That's the whole point here, Cynthia. And you need to think about that, okay?
White people today have the same nature as the white people in the 16, 17, and 1800s.
Do you just wake up in the morning and think, holy shit, I'm going to be a tumor today?
The only people who are confused and deluded about this are Black people, because Black people need, for some reason, have a desperate, detrimental desire to believe that white people actually do have some form of affinity for them, that they are an ally.
Maybe, just maybe. So this is just my logic and reason here. Or maybe they think that, hey, not every single white person is racist. With logic and sense and thought, they think that not every white person is racist. There's my friend here, and there's my friend there. Not every single white person is racist, Cynthia. I can tell you that right now with an affinity. I can tell you that right now with every. I can tell you, not every white person is racist. The only one that thinks that is you and your stupid victim mentality behind and your stupid victim mentality personality that thinks that, okay? Not every single white person is racist, Cynthia. Get off that victim mentality thing and change the direction that you're trying to make an argument in.
Even amongst the white people who have biracial children or who are cuddled up with other Black people, you still find the same mentality and nature of that person as the white people on the plantation.
No, they don't. Basically, if like white person marries a black person that has basically biracial children, which I can give an example. I am biracial myself. I'm black and Mexican. That kind of proves, they're not racist. Maybe that's just my thought and thinking. They're not racist if they have biracial children and the mothers love them for who they are. You know what I'm saying, Cynthia? So, and for you to say that they act like the same way they did back then on the plantations, like that is sickening and disgusting, and I don't approve of you doing that. Not at all. Not every white person is the same as they were back then. Like I said, that was the 1600s. This is 2017. Learn the difference in time. That's that generation. This is that generation. Learn what the generational gap is, and like learn how society progresses in the world. Okay. Learn how to say that before you say a stupid statement like that.
Who had sex on a regular basis with Black people, okay? Black people judge a good white person based on their interaction with a Black person, and usually that interaction is them dating them or having sex with them. When the reality of it is, when a white person has sex with a Black person, they're simply trying to get off. They've been getting off since you were on the plantation.
Are you nuts? For real? You're still using that history fallacy to justify now. Like I said before, and I will be stating this again, and I believe this position. You cannot use history to justify now or the means. You cannot use the past to guilt people into thinking, listening, and to say, oh my God, white people are the same throughout history. Nothing has changed. No generation gap has changed at all. Every white person is the same. They have evolved like Pokemon throughout history. They have like evolved. Oh my God, every one of them's the same. Oh my God. Like, no, that's crazy talk. That is such crazy talk. Cynthia, I don't know where you're getting this from. You probably have a tinfoil hat on your head. Like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Every white person is saying they're out to get me. They're out to get me. They're out to get me. Stop thinking that way because it is crazy the way you're talking and the way you're thinking. You sound like a conspiracy nut right now. You really sound like a conspiracy nut.
And that did not change them from a slave, a brutal, disgusting, demonic, depraved slave master into your friend or your lover.
You're crazy, Cynthia. I cannot believe you think this way. This is the most racist thinking I've ever heard of, man. Wow. You act like you were transported into the history book and were stuck in that section of the 1600s and nothing has changed. You're not. Things have changed over time, Cynthia. People are more willing to date people outside the race. They're willing to do that. I'll leave a link in the description below to do that. It actually helps the human race, like to do that, to explore and to go meet different people outside of different races. It actually helps you to do that. It's amazing, Cynthia, that you think all white people are the same back then as they are now, like they time traveled or something and they didn't evolve. That's crazy talk, Cynthia. That is so crazy, man. You are a crazy racist that believes in your own tinfoil hat conspiracy nut mentality. And I feel for you that you think that way and you will not evolve past that victim mentality at all. I feel for you that
They were simply enjoying an exotic form of sex, period. To Black people, that translates into a good white person. So my question is, what is a good white person? How do you identify a good white person? And where are they? Where do you find good white people? Where are the good white people when Black people are all being generalized and brutalized and bashed on media propaganda and being told that they are criminals, thugs, and worthy of death within 2 seconds of the arrival of an evil albinoid devil mercenary?
ever heard of BLM, that local terrorist organization? Ever heard of them? There were white people in there too, protesting basically fake victim mentality that they go on when actually they were the ones causing terror in the first place. Yeah, BLM was a thing. I don't know if you lived on a rock or not. I don't know if you would accept BLM or not. Apparently, that's too good for you. Even they, a terrorist organization, is too good for you. Why am I talking like this? She doesn't deserve my normal ranting voice at all. She really doesn't. So go look up BLM. It's a terrorist organization. They terrorize people and guilting white people into thinking that they were responsible for something and then to march with them every single day. So go look that up. 5 minutes on Google would actually help you. Okay? Okay.
Where were the good white people when Black people were in chains, stolen from their country, castrated, tortured, brutalized, beaten, and enslaved for hundreds of years?
I'm gonna let you think about this, guys, and see how she proves herself wrong later when I prove like the history that I looked up in Google. 5 minutes of Google Cynthia will help you. So I'm gonna leave this right here and let you linger on this point right here because the points I'm about to bring up later on will definitely prove her wrong and shatter her whole argument wide.
Where were the good white people when that was occurring? Where were the good white people when white people, by and large, were fighting to keep Black people enslaved?
Oh boy, I'm gonna read you guys something that I found on the internet about the American Civil War. And if you want the whole wiki article, I'm gonna leave it in the description below, guys. I'm gonna read most of the passages here, guys. It'll it'll teach you and teach her and teach you something about like the Civil War and teach you that yes, there were people that did fight to end slavery when black people were being enslaved. Okay, here we go, guys. The American Civil War was a civil war in the United States fought from 1861 to 1865. The Union faced secessionists in the 11 southern states grouped together as the Confederate States of America. The Union won the war, which remains the bloodiest in U.S. history. Among the 34 states in the United States in January 1861, the 7 southern slave states individually declared their secession from the U.S. and formed the Confederate States of America. Here's where the war is going to come, and like the Union's going to fight with the Confederate States to end slavery. War broke out in 1861 when the Confederates attacked the U.S. fortress Fort Sumter. The Confederacy grew to 11 states and claimed 2 more states in the western territory of Arizona. The Confederacy was never diplomatically recognized by any foreign country. because it wasn't a real thing. The states that remained, including the loyal border states where slavery was legal, were known as the Union or the North. The war ended in surrender of all Confederate armies and the collapse of the Confederate government, spring of 1865. The war had its origin in the fascist issues of slavery, especially when the extension of slavery into the Western territories. 4 years of intense combat left 620,000 to 750,000 soldiers dead, a high number in the American military deaths in World War II and World War I. Combined, much as the South infrastructure was destroyed, the Confederacy collapsed and slavery was abolished in the entire country. The Reconstruction era, 1863 to 1877, overlapped and followed the war, which is fulfilled process and resurging national unity, strengthening the national government and granting civil rights to free slaves. So basically, the American Civil War was the Union fighting against the Confederacy to end slavery. And guess what the Union Army looks like? Oh yes, the Union Army. They were all white. So when she says, where were the white people that are fighting for the black people that were enslaved and harmed? The Union Army was all white with some black people in there too. So don't give me that and say, oh, where were the white people when the black people were being enslaved? It's right there. The Union Army fought to end slavery, along with the help of Abraham Lincoln right afterwards. So don't tell me where were the white people when they were enslaved. Union Army and Abraham Lincoln are the reason that the slaves were let go. And don't give me any other reasons for that. It's right here in the history books. It's right here, and you couldn't even bother to do a 5 minute Google search at all to see. Oh man, I'm wrong about that. So it's like, yeah, I'm right. Google history, this and that. You like to use history so much. How about you listen to this history and look it up for 5 minutes instead of thinking of what you're thinking in your own head? Miss Cynthia, boom, you have been wrecked. I will leave the link to the Abraham Lincoln thing and the American Civil War thing in the description below, guys, for you to read and to learn about this kind of thing.
Stop believing the myth that white people fought to free black people from slavery. They
see my previous point for other things, Cynthia. Yes, white people did fight for black people when they were enslaved, called the Civil War, and then after the Civil War, it's called the Reconstruction era, and they gave things to the freed slaves. And along with the help of Abraham Lincoln, like I said, and the Emancipation Proclamation that he declared in 1865. You are dumb. It doesn't take a genius to look on Google for 5 minutes to know that white people did fight for black people when they were enslaved. They were called the Union Army and they were called Abraham Lincoln as well. So don't give me that, Cynthia. When the history debunks what you are saying at all. It really does. It does debunk what you're saying. Come on. How can you be this dumb? And how can you be this closed minded to not know that the history books do say this? You like to say so much history, but yet you don't want to look at history that proves you wrong and proves your narrative wrong. Wow. How closed minded are you?
did it. They fought to keep you enslaved. They
Wrong.
did not want slavery to end. The reason that slavery ended was because the North could not benefit off of it the way that the South could. The North was trying to build up an economy. They could not do that because of the free labor that the South got and the fact that people could simply go purchase a slave. So therefore, they felt that slavery needed to end, not because it was something morally wrong, not because they wanted to be there for black people, not because they saw black people being harmed and didn't like it, simply because the North could not profit off of it.
You know why it ended, madam? Because they thought it was something morally wrong. They thought it was wrong for people to be enslaved like that. They saw what was happening to people back then. And they say, hey, you know what? This is wrong. We got to fight to end this, man. We got to fight to end this and get people to be free. And give them jobs and build an economy that basically As free slaves, we give them a choice to do what they want to do in our society instead of being enslaved like that, like they were before. So no, madam, you are wrong. And they say, oh, they fought to keep them enslaved and they just wanted the profit off of them. No, they gave free slaves a choice of whatever job they want in that thing that they built in the Reconstruction era and gave civil rights to free slaves. So you are wrong, madam, altogether.
Where were the good white people when black people were being enslaved for hundreds of years? Where were the good white people during Jim Crow when at least 5 black people, males specifically, were strung up from a tree? Their life was sustained only so that they could torture and kill them for the satisfactions of hundreds of thousands of other white people, usually 9 times out of 10, due to the false allegations of a white woman that black men cannot seem to tear themselves away from, despite the fact that they are still doing those same behaviors today.
You can't tear yourself away from that victim mentality of yours and you thinking everything is the same as it was in the 1600s, as you said in the beginning. No, it is not the same. Society has progressed and we're a little bit more open to talking to people that are outside our own race, Cynthia. How come you cannot see that? Are you not blind to your own stupid way of thinking that you cannot see that the world is changing around you, or you just refuse to change with it, Cynthia? I think it's the latter, that you refuse to change with the world and see and people outside of your own race are not so bad. You refuse to change, and that is sad that you refuse to change.
Because again, just because the time era or the date on the calendar changes does not mean their nature has changed.
It does, Cynthia, because you know why it means that? Because different generation. That 1600 thing was a racist and bigoted generation. Yes, I will not deny that. But now it is 2017. It is a whole different generation that you think, and you're stuck in that time loop of being in the 1600s, and you're stuck in that perpetual victim mentality of the 1600s. You cannot evolve and grow into 2017 and see that people who are different races than you are not so bad. It's sad that you can't even grow and adapt to that way of thinking and say, hey, people outside my own race are not so bad. It is so sad that you cannot even evolve past that. That is really, really sad of you, and it's disappointing. Really disappointing that you still think that way. Wow, it is really, really disappointing.
Where were the good white people when Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, and the countless other black people were being murdered by evil albino devil mercenaries?
Must Ralph beat some sense into that overcooked noodle that you call a...
Were they not those same ones that were screaming all lives matter when you screamed Black Lives Matter?
I'm going to tell you the difference between All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is basically a terrorist and racist organization or political movement that seeks to divide more than it brings together. And it guilts white people into thinking that they're wrong for some stuff, and it makes them think, hey, I'm guilty for what my ancestors did, let me go join you. All Lives Matter was not a political movement, but All Lives Matter was saying every single life matters. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Chinese, every single life matters. Not just one specific one that matters, madam. So that's the difference, madam. When they say all lives matter, they're saying every single life matters on this planet, not just one specific one that you chose to be special or to point out.
Are those the good white people that people speak of? Where are the good white people now who see mass incarceration, who see segregated, impoverished black communities, who see the slaughter of black men, women, and children, and say nothing about it?
Once again, madam, when something happens to a black person or a white guy chooses a black person, it is all over the news. It is covered 24/7. What in the world are you talking about? Stop acting like that doesn't happen, madam. Stop acting like it doesn't happen. It's getting annoying now.
Where are those good white people? Because the good white people only tend to rear their head and want to protest for something against something when they are being disenfranchised,
You're made of stupid, aren't you?
not when you are being disenfranchised. How come the mentality of good white people and the actions of good white people only tend to affect other white people? Why is it not extended to the black people that they claim to love and want to have sex with so much? If there are so many good white people, why is there still so much racism perpetuated by white people?
Where, madam, show me the evidence that racism still be perpetuated by white people. Show me the evidence in the links in your description. As far as I know, I looked in your description, you have no links, you have no evidence to back up your claims, you're just making things out of thin air. No, that does not happen in today's world. If you say it does happen, I'm going to say you're wrong because it does not happen, madam. Not at all.
Why is it that these good white people are not petitioning lawmakers and going to town hall meetings and rioting in the street every day to end black disenfranchisement? Where are
Because they're not falling for your victim mentality and guilt tripping fallacy that you tend to most on white people. Most of them are smart, and most black people are smart as well. Say, hey, you're wrong and you're being racist, and you're using the ancestor fallacy to guilt people into going to town hall meetings, petitions, in disenfranchisement that you think still exists, which it doesn't. It was released over many, many, many years ago in 1865. So get off that trip and get off that high horse.
the good white people who are doing that? Can someone let me know where to find them? Where are the good white people when you see Stormfront websites and Reddit, where it's a cesspool of evil albinoid devil hatred for all things black? Where are the good white people during those times? Can someone please tell me where to locate these good white people, or is it just that there really aren't any good white people and that is simply another delusion of black low self-esteem and a figment of their imagination?
No, it's not, madam. It's not a figment of their imagination. There exist good people in this world. You just have to go find them in this world, go meet them, and go interact with them. And it's not a part of my low self-esteem that thinks that there are good people in this world. You must have the low self-esteem in life where you think every single white person is racist and every single white person saying since the 1600s and 1865. You have the low self-esteem, not me. Not every single white person is racist, and not every single white person is the same in this world as they were in the 1600s and 1865. Not at all, madam.
If there are so many good white people, why do people have to constantly remind us that not all white people are evil, albinoid, devil, racist, demonic entities?
You keep bringing out that stupid myth that all white people are racist when they're not. The reason I keep mentioning it is because you keep bringing it up in every single one of your videos. That's why they keep mentioning it.
If there are so many good white people, wouldn't we just be able to identify them because they would be in abundance? Where are even the good white people who are laid up with black people who are fighting on behalf of black people? Where are those good white people?
Busy loving their children and loving their relationship and too busy to be racist and being stupid like you. They're busy having meaningful and productive lives and don't give a crap what people say about their interracial relationship. They're too busy to think like you at all, madam, and you really need to stop perpetuating this stupid myth that all white people are racist because they're not.
Because the thing of it is those good white people would have the same mentality as the mounting and overabundance of bad white people.
Full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Where were the good white people, and why weren't they stopping the bad white people from engaging in their evil? Why aren't they stopping them from doing it now? Since
Define evil, madam. Or you're gonna say evil as just simply disagreeing with you on in a position that you had that they don't? Is that what you define as evil? Because if you not define that as evil, you are retarded, and you should not even be listened to, and you should be ignored and laughed off the YouTube community.
They're so good. Where are the good white people to speak out against white supremacy and the terrorism that it is on a daily basis? Could it possibly be that regardless of whether you classify yourself as a good white person or a bad white person, you benefit from white supremacy, and therefore you have no vested interest in its demise, no matter how many black people you lay up with, have sex with, or procreate with? Could it be that these good white people are only professed to be in existence when you point out the ills of the masses of bad white people?
You're nuts, madam. Can't you just see her like in her bunker in her house today? It's yes, all black people, all white people are racist, and everyone is wrong else except me. Don't you walk away from me, man! I say you. Can't you just see her in, like cooped up in her house doing that wearing a tinfoil hat? Can't you just see that? It's hilarious.
Could it be that black people who want to proclaim that there are a ton of good white people are simply wanting to delude themselves?
You are the deluded one now. No one else is deluded except you and your fans and your bunch of cronies that think all white people are racist, and you think that, and you all wear your tinfoil hats and come to all your meetings and say every single white person is racist. We gotta look out for them. They're hiding behind a tree now. Basically, you're the deluded one, and not anyone else except you.
And they feel that pointing out the few good white people is a way to justify the fact that they are laid up with a group of people who historically and presently care nothing about them and have only done things to show them that they have a sustainable disdain for them. Could it be that the only people who really see good white people are the black people who want to lay up with them?
Nope, it's just people with common sense and logic, and not with a tinfoil hat victim mentality thing.
The next time you want to get into my comments and talk to me about fighting racism with racism or being hateful or what Martin Luther King would have liked, mind you, where were the good white people when Martin Luther King was being slaughtered? Where were they at? How come they didn't stop the death of MLK, who they claim to love so much, and now they quote whenever it's convenient for them? Where were they then? Does anybody see anything wrong with the fact that we have to constantly be reminded that there are good white people?
I see nothing wrong with it. You have to be constantly reminded of that because obviously you don't get it, and it's not seeping or sinking into your head at all.
Is that not a testament in and of itself that there probably aren't any good white people?
No, it's a faulty and racist one at best.
Because if they were, you wouldn't have to remind us. The presence of the good white people would speak for itself.
We have to remind you because you're racist, ignorant, and bigoted, and MLK was none of that whatsoever. That's why they constantly bring him up because he was not racist and bigoted. You guys are being the racist and bigoted ones in this day and age. Nobody else is except you guys.
I don't think anybody can answer this question of whether or not there are good white
I just did.
people. I think reality speaks for itself, and those of
Reality? Don't you dare talk about reality because you're obviously not in reality right now. You're in your own fantasy land where you're in the 1600s thinking everybody is racist. Don't you dare talk to me about reality, okay?
of you who choose to ignore it, you choose to ignore it because you simply want to lay up with a group of people who are showing you and who have always shown you that they care nothing about you. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Thank you for your support. I'll see you in the next one.